You know, we ended up making $43,000 off of our 43,000.
Oh, I thought they took 43 from you.
No,
They gave you.
100 trees, and they paid us $43,000. Total sales on that 100 trees was $99,000. We had one single walnut that was worth $7,000.
No, don't forget taxes.
I know, I'm not sure about, but we
It
normally
was
get,
something bad.
we normally get like a $6,000 tax refund, so I'm hoping that we just don't get much of a refund. And I'm not sure how it works, but they wrote both their checks in December, but I didn't cash one of them until January. So depending on how that works, it might get one this year and one next year, which would be better for the taxes.
Well, they're gonna probably issue you some.
I don't know.
Oh, it's Catholic. You better get, because you know, when
I
like,
know.
go ocean.
And I tried to call our tax guy, but he didn't like the answer, so I think we're going to a different place. $43,000.
Minus taxes.
Yeah,
Oh,
but still $43,000.
Oh, I know.
99,000, yeah, $99,000 worth of lumber.
Did he say in like 20 years it'll happen again?
Yeah, he said it could take him more, but,
But I mean, like, in 20 years.
20, 30 years, yeah, I could have a whole nother crop.
There you
That's,
go.
that's
like
crazy, isn't it?
retirement. It still helps your
It's
retirement.
crazy.
Okay, want to get ready to go. I'm going to email everybody this tomorrow.
That's what I haven't looked at yet.
Okay. And when the park board gets here, I'll talk. Okay, I'm gonna send everybody this article. Oh my gosh, even though it's long, I learned so much about Akron, like from this article. You know, just from the novice, but you know what I mean? He explained it very well and things I never thought about. So I'm looking at Andy, this is from Andy Knitz's report. And I finally figured after I really looked at everything.
Oh, because there are different options. for the
There's like
town
lots of
lights that we
options.
get.
And if I'm not wrong, this is the one we're taking. This is the one we're taking. So you add those two up, it actually comes in less than that. Because this was if they were doing all these separates. So if you add those two up, well, I mean, if you have to add that one, and that's gonna be our price, like 800.
What's the difference in them? That's what I'm not seeing.
Well, this one is 6 and 7, and new everything for
For 8,
equals, we'll say that.
yeah.
Okay, now they're saying, well, wonder if you want to separate it, you just want to do 8, or where if you just want to, do 8.
I see, that's 6 and 7, that's 8, and then that's the
Yeah,
back
yeah.
ones, all right.
So if you, because, yeah, before you'd add that up, anyway,
All right, I see what
yeah,
it's the
so.
same, it's the same stuff, it's just a different combination of fuel.
Right, and the price is similar, it's not identical. Now, here's their, Field 8 is correct. Field 9 and 11, I think it's 345 by 210. And I'm sending all this with everyone. I mean, this is our, what is it? Of course, the most important thing is not here that I was going to explain to you. Anyway, just trust me on this one. I'll go get it. I think this is bigger. And then because I'm going to just give all this to you. Does that include, I got to have that on hand.
That's the stuff, the extras.
Yeah.
which I think.
Do you mean so Penny and Justin have not been hearing
Penny,
this?
Justin, can you hear us now?
We can't hear them either.
No, he
You
said
could,
he'd be
you could
muted.
before.
There you go.
Sorry, I had to turn off my mic. I just heard you just a moment ago. I hadn't heard
Same
you.
here. Same
So
here.
until this point, you couldn't hear anything?
Correct.
Okay.
Me either.
Well, good. We're just, Justin, you want to introduce yourself? This is the time.
Hello, everyone. My name's Justin Roddy. I'm new with the County Legal Department. I've been here for about a month. And I just want to say hi to everybody, and I look forward to working with everyone.
Thank you. And you may have a comment. We're on Old Business A, the MCCSC easement is the topic. This isn't for you to do anything. You've already talked about this. And I don't know, Justin, is it up to the commissioners in the council to approve this easement?
That's my understanding.
Okay, so at some point, it will go back to the commissioners and it'll go to the council. We're just here giving you information, and plus it's in our packet forever. The yellow highlight on page 10 is the detour route during construction. BRCJ is hopefully going out to public biddings soon. They expect construction in the spring and completion before August, before school starts. And you're going to vacate one easement, or the commissioners and the council are, and they're going to accept a new easement for the Cars Farm Greenway.
As you recall, the larger curve is what we're replacing with the smaller curve.
We're getting the smaller curve.
Yeah.
Yes.
And the purpose of this is for the schools to what?
They're putting in a track.
They're putting in a track that will have two purposes. One, for kids to run in a semicircle. And second, when the parents come to pick up and drop off, they're going to actually use that track for cars. And they're going to get in line to pick up their children instead of being out on the road.
Aren't they doing that at the school over south of 3rd Street on the west side?
I don't know. You mean lining up on a track?
Yeah, I think we had to approve some kind of.
That's what this is.
That's what this is.
That's what this is.
Oh,
I was like, well, I'm not sure what it
okay. I didn't recognize the logo.
Yeah, so this one is they're making a track for
Okay.
cars to line in a row so they can pick up their children in an orderly fashion. And the other one during the school, the kids can use it for exercise.
Reminded me, Kelly, the Monroe County school system is paying for the new park.
Everything,
Right.
easement, everything. They're
Well,
paying
these
for
are
everything.
not big deal, the pavement.
Yes, the pavement, they're paying for everything. And it's being designed by Butts over here, Cooper, James, who know our standards
Good.
of trails.
So page 12 or 14 is the ultimate goal, which
It would be 12. 14 is just to show you that this easement will be given up.
That's the current map.
Well, this is the current.
Yeah.
Yes, page 14 will be given up, and the shorter one will
And
be.
12, the one that's not dashed is the current.
Right.
Good news is Andy has trouble with this particular curve that we have right now, so we're getting rid of a problem.
It'll be fine.
Because the asphalt.
Yeah, at the top corner there, the asphalt, there's a huge tree right at that corner, and I would say they're gonna probably remove that tree to put this new trail through, so our asphalt won't crack there no more.
So,
I mean, just from experience, you really do stub your toe on that route going under that.
Yeah, and we've had it fixed like 2 times, and it just keeps
Yeah.
coming back.
And I know it's there and I still stumble on it.
and on page 10 is the detour route. There will be a detour route in front of the school, and you have to go around, and it'll be signed. That was the best MCCS could do, because if not, you can see the track there on page 10.
What are they doing as far as the detour, meaning are they gonna stone it or are they gonna?
No, it's already, well, I mean, most of it's like sidewalk or path already.
Yeah, they've
And
got,
it's asphalt.
I think they've got a concrete sidewalk within their fenced off area, and then it'll bring you out to what looks like the
Sidewalk.
sidewalk in front of the school, between the parking lot and the school itself, and then cut back.
Okay.
Yeah, there's another sidewalk then at the, what would be the north side that cuts back to our trail and it's always connected to our trail and just take you back.
So they'll have a hard surface everywhere.
So it's a win-win for everyone and the kids too.
And as I recall, they're also gonna fence between our trail and the track, correct?
There currently is a fence for part of the distance and then I don't know if they're
They
doing
haven't
the rest of
decided
it or
yet,
not.
and that would be up to MCCSC. They may or may not do it. That's totally up to them.
Well, I think they would because otherwise they might have access to their track. It's on our trail.
And that's totally up to them.
Okay.
I mean, right now you can walk on their playgrounds and, I mean, nothing's locked.
Right.
Any questions? FYI. Unless we go to the commissioners at some point, as Justin said.
Sounds good.
All right. That's it.
Moving on to page 15.
So we make this simple. Jeff and Kim actually made this graphic for us. And basically, it tells you the projects for the Cars Athletic Complex. It tells you the funding sources for the project. And on January 24th, the commissioners hopefully will approve the engineering contract for Bledsoe Ritter Cooper James to continue this process. It may take us 2024 to 2025 to get everything completed, but we will go as fast as we can, but we don't want to make mistakes. So we're going on 2 field trips in the next few weeks to look at natural infield. One is at Washington High School and the other one's at Rose Holman. We're going with our engineers and our entire park staff who's involved. And we're going to, and the vendors will be there and Rose Holman staff will be there. And we're going to talk about the products that they purchased and why.
These are synthetic or they?
Well,
Synthetic, but the infill's natural, so instead of rubber infill, it's got a engineered wood fiber.
or something.
Just
Yeah, so,
tiny little engineered wood
Okay.
fiber.
so we're looking at the organic infield. The carpet's not as important to us as the infield.
What's underneath?
Because you buy the carpet, you buy infield, and you buy a shock pad that goes under it. All 3 of these are different products.
Is there any issue in terms of one of the 3 companies not providing warranty for the product if it's used with some other company's product, or is this the way it's
And
always?
we're gonna get all
All that
all those answers because we want warranty.
Okay,
Sure.
And we want to get the best product for the money and longevity. And so we're doing research, so we're not
Prices
rushing it.
that we used, that have been used for these estimates are based on a particular product or just an average of what they cost?
Both Andy Canute's probably averaged everything.
Okay,
And trust me, every vendor has been calling him because they know this product is on the horizon.
Okay.
So he has a lot of information. We're digesting it. We'll put it out to bid. It'll go through the legal department. We may use on some of the products, it's called Sourcewell. And I don't know if Justin wants to talk about what Sourcewell is.
Yes, and looking through the Sourcewell material, it is a Minnesota governmental entity, basically that collects bids. I went through both their requirements, our county requirements, the state requirements, and it looks like their bid procedure is largely compatible with what we need to do in our Indiana bid procedure. But basically, I think they have some, in speaking to Kelly, I think they have some good contacts, and so they're able to bid some of that and hopefully get us a little better deal because of maybe volume, is my understanding talking to Kelly.
Well, we've actually used Sourcewell before. You may not remember. Margie Rice did the research just as Justin did research. That's how we bought our playgrounds. And we get a discount doing it that way. So we've had 2 attorneys look at it already. So I'm confident if we go that direction on some of the products, everything, our price will be the best we can get.
question regarding the 2 fields that will not be converted to synthetic turf fields. are they going to be basically left as they are? Or are they gonna see any improvements, the two further out fields,
Are you talking about
10 and 12?
10 and 12? Nothing happens to those at all,
At all, okay.
at all.
All right.
It's 6, 7, 8, 9, and 11.
Okay. And is the thought being that they will continue to be used, or will they cease to be used?
They will be used as grass fields with no drainage, no irrigation.
No.
But in the future, if this works out well and say there's money down the line, you can, those would be the next 2 fields that would be synthetic fields.
Okay. And
Someday.
These are all 4 fields, full-size fields.
They're the largest we have.
Okay. Good.
So thank you to the commissioners. They've been wonderful. Justin's been wonderful. He's been going down my list. He's been wonderful.
Long list.
It's a long
It
list.
is, isn't it?
So what's the kind of timeline again?
Well, best case scenario, we might get 2 synthetic fields installed August, September of 2024. Then we will be getting the drainage and the lights will go in somewhere in the same, all the lights will go in together. It'll be one package.
You want to obviously do that before we do the field because.
Well, all the engineers are working out the details of who goes in, when goes in, who's the contractor. We're having like 2 different bid situations. One is the synthetic fields and all the lights are kind of a package. Those are all alike things. The drainage and irrigation for field 6 and 7 will go in separate because that's can be any kind of local vendor can put those in. That'll be a separate, but we also, if things go well, we don't want to ruin or rip those fields up until we get our synthetic fields. Because if not, we're going to be down 4 fields instead of 2 fields. That was the whole idea of doing synthetic first, so we won't be down 4 fields, we'll be down 2 fields. So we are doing our best to time this, but Mother Nature and everything else, who knows where our carpet's coming from? Hopefully, America.
Where our playground carpet comes from. So.
Yes, so anywho, nothing goes as planned, but we will plan it out.
Additional questions over here?
Jenny, do you have any questions yet?
No, we did get just a little bit of pushback for providing the funding for some of this, but it was so minimal. I was amazed.
Excellent, excellent. Any other questions?
Thank you. Oh,
Yes, thank you.
Oh, thank you. Oh, yes, commissioners are just wonderful.
any other questions about information on page 15? Or comments? All right, moving on then to item C under old business. I did want additional information. It's like there is some.
I thought I just typed it on front, so those who get our packet, that may not look in the packet, they can see. Andy is ready to go. He will have a schedule for the staff for Flatwoods and Karst. We bought a lot of signs, which means we can use these particular signs for another 10 years. It's just not solar eclipse signs, but we bought a whole bunch of signs for out-of-town people that aren't familiar with our parks, how to get to the restrooms. And if for some reason, if Karst Farm Park is too busy, Andy has authority to close the park, put the gate, put the signs up, and put a person out front. So he's ready to go. I think you are.
I think we're all set.
Sure.
I talked to the lady in charge of the Solar Eclipse Festival, whatever it's called, and we're gonna actually have one of our gates open out back that goes between the 2 places.
Fairgrounds.
So, yeah, so that nobody's jumping the fence because on their website, they pushed Karst Farm Park about 4 or 5 times, like mentioned us directly, like go play disc golf, go use the shelters. When traffic's awful, when you're trying to leave, go hang out at the park for a couple hours before you leave. So we're gonna have the gate open, but everybody that gets in their main gates has a wristband, and they're gonna have security personnel on the gate, only letting people back in with wristbands, because I said that you can't sell them from there either, because then you have people parking at the park and the gate will be shut and they'll get locked in.
And we have plenty of staff, they're on gators, they're well marked, they have signs.
I think we'll be good.
They'll be good. And just so you know, the sheriff department, sheriff reserve, Ellisville police are not available for the parks, only in emergencies and if available. So.
Back to the fairgrounds. Have we been informed as to how many people they expect and whether they have a limit on the number of people they will allow into that property?
I'm not sure what their max capacity people wise is, but I'm pretty sure that just about every camping RV spot they have is full. So they're going to be packed. And she did say one thing that they're doing is that, so they had day passes, 2-day passes, and then like the whole 3-day kit and caboodle pass. And you were only allowed to come back on or be there and watch the eclipse on Monday if you had a 3-day pass, so that it wasn't encouraging locals to come to the fairgrounds to watch the eclipse when you could just do it at your house and not jam up traffic. So.
And I think I've mentioned this before, Andy's on the fair board.
Oh, okay.
He's been on the fair board, so he tells us everything and he is there to tell them what we're doing, and it's been a wonderful relationship.
Good.
That's my word of the day.
So just so I can be clear about this, so they will not have people on the property as guests other than the people who are staying in
Correct.
RVs.
Yeah.
And that is a finite number that probably has already been reached.
Yeah, I would say though that they're probably selling like passes to other than camping as well. So it's not just gonna be campers.
So they could have
Yeah.
a slew of day
Yeah.
people. Okay.
And the parks will be open and free. The kids can come over and use the playgrounds. Andy will have tons of toilet paper. He ordered an extra dumpster even.
Yeah, buddy, we got our dumpster in order
Dumpster loaded
already.
with toilet paper?
Yeah, probably will be by the end of it.
And we have extra of everything because of tournaments we do, so. And IU Memorial Stadium will be open to the public for activities. So I suspect that's where all the police are going.
Yeah, Lake Monroe's doing stuff too. I mean, there's a whole bunch of groups that are doing activities.
So we have no athletics, we have no recreational programs. We encourage the locals to stay at home, be safe.
I'm gonna bring everybody in a couple hours late, have a couple people there at the beginning of the morning, and then bring everybody in a couple hours late, because I don't foresee us getting out of there anytime soon with traffic. So to kind of offset that, have people show up a little bit later in that morning.
The shelters will all be open.
Yeah,
Open, free,
Right.
so, and we even have signs that say shared.
yeah.
So county government is closed,
Yes,
but Parks Department,
they're all working, they get comp time.
comp time, okay.
And I think I've told you this, but I'm gonna be in Europe, so that's why Andy's doing it. John's here. But they all get comp time, it's not like we're not paying.
You're planning to be here 110 years from now
Yeah,
to see the next one.
see the next one.
John, this would be a good time for you to point out.
The glasses, so we did bring out some glasses for everybody. We've got a lot of them, if you want to take a couple. If you want to wait until the March meeting or February meeting, we can bring them out. Every meeting until then.
So,
Gotta be able to see in the meetings, so.
Put them in the box with the other tickets and whatever, so that we're there.
so if you have, do you have any other questions?
What could possibly attract you to Europe during this event?
I was supposed to go during COVID. This is a COVID trip. It's your COVID trip. It's my COVID trip that got canceled.
Okay.
What's it, 3 years later?
So,
Four again now.
Yeah.
if this, if today's remarks could be pretty thoroughly specified in minutes, then maybe I, at least, will not be asking a dozen questions
About the eclipse
for the next 3 months. No promises, but it's a possibility. Well, thank you.
Oh, thank Andy.
And thank you.
They're doing a good job.
Good luck, John.
Thank you.
They're gonna fight over the
Yeah.
gator and the bobcats and everything.
Moving on then to new business, which was listed as none, but we now have the Hoosier Hills Food Bank MOU to discuss. Is that you, Kelly?
Well, yes, Justin reviewed this and made changes. I think he's comfortable with it, but I don't know if you've had a chance to read it. It's pretty simple. And what we do is then, if you all like this, we give it to Hoosier Hills Food Bank because they have their attorneys, and I think Margie's on their board too, to look over it. And it's pretty simple. We do this, they do that, and we all get along just wonderful.
What, you mentioned the attorney made changes, what kind of changes?
Justin, what'd you make?
They were relatively minor stylistic changes. There were a few things that were, some punctuation was a little bit unclear, some wording, but I would say substantive, there were no substantive changes that I made from the previous draft that I had.
It seems like this agreement worked well all the years we've had it, so.
I mean, we improve upon it each time, so everything, because we don't want to have an attorney say, what's that mean? You know, we want to be able to read it and just say, I understand what that means.
And they're still paying for their water, but that's an agreement elsewhere since it's not income.
They've been just great. I can't tell you how we enjoyed working with Hoosier Hills Food Bank. And then Andy is going to be there, one of your staff, to train them on the tractor and go over safety protocols and things like that.
What percentage of the garden plots are under the management of Hoosier Hills?
Well, they don't really have a plot, they just have, it's not that they have. If you look at their map, I think there's a map on there.
Okay. Okay.
So you just got that
Area.
this one here.
So it's just kind of like a chunk of land.
Yeah, okay, so they,
So while we're looking at this, the new raised beds, are they in the, because you said some of them might replace some ground plots, are they in this ground plot square now?
If you look, you see the white squares?
Yeah, you can see the raised beds, so just to the south of the ones that are there to the, I guess, depending on how you're looking at this, just towards the road is where the 3 new ones will go.
Okay.
And there are 3 of them, but there's 6 rental availabilities.
Each bed's got 2 rental spaces. We actually just dropped those off today.
So there will be 6 more opportunities for raised
Space
beds.
is labeled if available.
It's in between
It's in
those 2.
between them, yeah, that, actually, we had enough room to get our 3 beds in with the same 5 feet distance in between each bed that's already there and the ones we put in, and then still have 5 feet of gravel around the outside, and still have space between that and Hoosier Hills area.
And the reason why I put if available, right now Hoosier Hills can use it, we're good for that. Because this is a long agreement, it's
29?
Yeah, 29, so just in case. Oh, this is Karen Wheeler. She's our new office manager. She's been with, how many years for Monroe County government?
8 years.
She was the election supervisor before this, which is like,
Yes, I heard.
which is like probably the most important job in county government.
Yeah,
And
obviously nobody wants it.
hardest job.
so we are very fortunate to have Karen.
Anybody who can handle the election office can handle pretty much anything as far as I'm concerned.
More than generous.
Well,
Thank you.
Oh, this is Carol, Phil, Joe, Kevin, Dr. Carolyn, and Evelyn.
Evelyn.
Thanks for coming in.
Yeah, I just didn't mean to interrupt.
Oh, no.
I did want to meet you all, so very good to meet you all, and of course, you're always welcome in the office anytime.
Do you have any questions for Karen?
It's been great.
Not yet.
Kelly runs a great office, so.
We're so lucky to have Karen. And I know Penny, you know Karen. Oh, Penny's up there.
Yes, we've known each other for many years. So
So we are so fortunate, so.
Well, I'll let you all go, but nice to meet you all. Thank you.
Combine their teachers.
So I finally figured out that this sheet of paper that says Exhibit 3C is it's pertinent to nothing, it's just spare.
Is it the park rule?
Well, there's 3 exhibits, Exhibit A, Exhibit B, and Exhibit C. So this whole thing is one whole.
Oh, this is just, okay, general park rules.
Right, because it's said that, you need to abide by park rules.
Right.
So here's our park rules, so they know what they are.
None of the, there's no substantive changes to anything, right?
That's what he's, yeah.
That I
No, they pay us the water.
Okay. I'll make a motion.
I mean, we just made it more clear, right?
I'll second that motion.
She just wants to keep doing it.
Pretty sure it was moved and seconded to approve the memorandum of understanding with Hoosier Hills Food Bank. Any questions now? Hearing none. Jamie?
Bill,
Yes.
Carol,
Yes.
Evelyn,
Yes.
Joe,
Yes.
Carolyn,
Yeah.
and Kevin.
Yes.
Motion passes. Thank you. Moving on to pages 16 through 27. Financials. Jamie, I always ask this, anything you'd like to put out?
No, and if you look on page 22, you'll see that our positive cash balance has been restored to its former glory. So we did have Nate do some work on the database. And then I had Kay come in, it was the last Friday of the year, just because this is my first transition from one year to the next on the database. And there's actually quite a bit that you have to put in for the new year. And so I had her come in and show me exactly where to put everything. And we had a nice visit with Kate and she's doing great. She looks great. She's lost a lot of weight and I think it's because Jim is keeping her pretty busy with renovations.
Got her out there making pallets, is that what you're
I
doing?
think so. She looks great and she sounds great. She didn't know what day of the week it was, which is good. That means she's
Not unusual.
tired. Yes, yeah. Yeah, I remember when my parents retired, that was the first thing that we noticed. We didn't know what day of the week it was.
If my phone didn't tell me, I would never know what that was.
Yeah, so the database is currently back on track, but John and I are exploring other options, just because Nate, obviously this time, said, listen, you can keep paying me, but you really need to transition to something more stable. The problem that we're running into is that we don't really have any kind of reference for what other departments would suggest, because most other departments are only relying on Lao to do all of their financial tracking. And even if we could do that, we wouldn't, because I like to be able to check our numbers with what the courthouse has, because everybody makes mistakes. But we also need to be able to have something a lot more elaborate than just spreadsheets, because we need to be able to track specific expenses, such as the athletic complex at the end of the year. Kelly has us go through and we code all of that stuff on entry. Well, this claim was used for the athletic complex. This claim was used for after-school programs. And so we can kind of look and see what the expenses for each program are. So we do need a program that's a little bit more extensive than what the other departments are using. So I did talk to Amy Garst at the airport, and she says she's also using an old unstable access database, and she's scared for her bookkeeping as well. She suggested that if we find something nice that is a little bit pricey, that they might be interested in sharing the licensing, purchasing for that. So John and I are going to do a little research and see what we can find that's on the market. Unfortunately, you can't just look at a program and see what it can do. You have to invite them to give you a
Presentation.
demo. Yeah, so.
Gotta sell it to you.
They do. So we'll be back with more information about that. But for now, we're still with Nate's database. So.
And go and see where it's working somewhere else. Well, what Jamie may not know is the other departments over time actually took our database. So we
Well,
actually.
they're not using it right now.
And they might have dumped
Yeah,
it by now.
yeah, I
Because we had the best
actually
one for years.
I really thought maybe that the county highway department and maybe stormwater would have some type of database that they use. They have a couple of spreadsheets and that's about it. So nobody can really.
That's not exactly what I meant.
I know what you're saying.
Other parks.
Right. I know what you're saying. If you go to the website for some of these programs, they have testimonials. But you would actually have to travel to their office probably and sit down and see what they track and what it's capable of, yeah. But
We
I
might
think
reach
the
out to
demo will
City
be
of
nice.
Wilmington too.
Isn't there a state parks association that might have some collective information on?
Yeah, we can ask them, because
Yeah.
they're all dealing with their governments too, like we chose Lao. I mean, the county chose Lao, so who knows what Green County chose or whatever.
There might be some locations where they have new systems that are working very well that you can get some insights from. But rather than you call everybody, they would know who, hopefully, in the last few years has made some changes and.
And John's a member.
Okay.
And I actually think one of the programs that John and I both think would be really good is actually kind of catered towards local government agencies. So that's one that we're gonna schedule a demo and see if Amy wants to come and kind of watch that as well.
Well, it doesn't come up very often, but I am reminded that Nathan has been saying this for
A long time.
years.
Since I've been here for over 6 years now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so it's time.
Yeah, it's time.
Yeah.
It's time.
Penny's got her hand raised.
Oh,
Yeah. So as Kelly said, the county does use Lao for lots of different things. Isn't there a sub-program in Lao that you could use that really wouldn't cost anything? And we have people that are trained to use Lao that you could have on-site help anytime you need it.
I think it's more about having a checks and balance system, having numbers of our own to check with Lao and make sure that everything's running smoothly. I'll look into it. I see what you're saying, maybe some way to track specific program expenses.
Yeah, well, and I say that because the solid waste district just moved to Lao, knowing that it would be compatible with what the county uses, because the county actually has final oversight on the solid waste district's kind of budget and everything. Now, they do a lot more, Parks Department does it separately, pay employees, for example. But I think maybe perhaps talking to Bree Gregory or somebody like that, the auditor's office, might be really useful.
Yeah, I actually reached out to Bree and she told me to reach out to some of the other departments and see what they were using, that she didn't know specifically of anything besides Lao. But maybe I can get a hold of them and see what they're doing in Lao that's different than what we're doing.
Thank you. Yes.
I've got a comment on page 22. If I read this correctly, Kurt, let me know if I did. I mean, I think it's good to see that our cash balance at the end of the year, 1179 and 1178, is greater than when we started. In other words, we spent less than we took in those two accounts, if I'm reading this right, Kelly.
yes, that's what you're reading.
I mean, that's great. That's what we want to do.
Right.
I'd love to see that balance stay up or even increase a little, Good, well done.
Anything else? Any other questions or observations about financials?
Just on page 22, if you see the bottom one of the 9107 MLP, at some point in time, that will be zero. That is not our money. That belongs to a bond that the commissioners have control over.
Actually, in February meeting, that will be gone because courthouse said to leave it in there until 2024 because nothing gets encumbered. And so that it will drop out of allow financial report. And so when we bring forward all of these balances on page 22, we already did it, but we put it at zero. So that would be out of there now.
Okay.
So we didn't spend it, we gave it back.
Anything else? Thank you. Moving on to reports on page 28. here, Beth?
I'm here.
It was bad today. She's hiding behind me. It's my rear view mirror. You'd like to, what are you doing? Are you keeping busy?
I am keeping busy, gearing up for the second semester programs, school programs. So after school, just making people starting on Monday. We've got volleyball going there for the first session, and then I'll probably have soccer after that. And this is the time of year I get really busy with planning for day camp. So searching for staff, seeing who wants to come back from last year, planning our trips and guest speakers and activities, figuring out the transportation, which we just signed that contract. We just got that contract back from Go Express at the commissioner's team. So we'll be using them again to do some day camp field trips, and otherwise just doing a lot of dog park stuff, taking new memberships, updating vaccination records, answering questions. There's been that issue with the dog virus that we've had a lot of members concerned about. You've heard about that? You look confused. Dr. Carolyn might not.
Okay, so they're actually not able to identify whatever this is that is causing some respiratory issues, and they don't even know whether it's something new or just something old that's coming through. And the best thing is to stay up to date with your vaccinations, to keep your pets home if they seem to be sick, and to be a little careful if you've got pets that are compromised. Talk to your vet, because they can give you the best information. I don't have a ton of information, although the Board of Health says it's here, but they don't know how much, because it's not a trackable issue, so.
We've had lots of questions from members, and I direct them to their vet.
There's been a whole lot of social media stuff, but you know how accurate that can be. And so I think it's not as bad as some places have made it out, at least not in Monroe County that we know of right now. But we don't really know. So, you know, keep your dog up to date on its respiratory vaccines, and just use common sense. And if your dog gets sick, talk to your vet ASAP.
I did post some signs out the dog park, and I sent an email to all the members with exactly that information. And we've had a couple members that have withdrawn their membership and said they will restart it once the threat is over. But I'm looking at the tracking from the gate, and it looks like just as many people are going to the dog park as they did before. So I think at first people were getting all panicked about it, but it hasn't borne out to be quite the threat that some people were trying to.
So, quick question then, if they don't know what the virus is, if your dog appears to be ill, is there treatment?
There is.
There are treatments for respiratory issues. I mean, there are some animals that have died, but they might have died from pneumonia too. And they just haven't been able to identify an actual either virus or bacteria that is causing this syndrome in dogs that have died. So they don't really know at this point. But it could simply be something respiratory that's been out there for years that maybe is peaking a little bit now. But there's been a lot of studies, and nobody has been able to say whether it's one thing or we're just seeing a number of different respiratory viruses that are causing problems. And, you know, a dog died and then everybody started to panic. I mean, it's definitely not COVID, but it could be flu. And for dogs type of thing. So if you read the Board of Health recommendations, they're basically saying exactly what Beth has said and so forth.
So basically though, dog park numbers are stable?
Yes, oh yes. We're getting new memberships. We definitely get more memberships added than people withdrawing, so we should have a net more than what we have been having.
The fact that we do require our dogs to be vaccinated and on, heartworm prevention and some of these other things may actually benefit us because the other parks don't.
We don't require heartworm, but we suggest that one.
Any other, Matt's not here, Autumn's not here, John is here. Do you want to speak for all of these other people?
Well, they're both kind of like Beth. They're very much in the planning phase. Seems like December, January, February, you're just restarting what you just finished in November. Going through the event list, rumor has it the Easter Bunny might be making a return. March 30th. I think we're gonna do another movie night at Flatwoods, partnering with the library, potentially one at the airport again. I don't know if you remember from 2 years ago, we did one as part of like their larger, they had like I think they shut down the airport for construction, so they did a big event, and then we had a movie night as kind of a separate thing. They had so much fun that they want us to come back. So yeah, the event schedule's starting to take shape too, though.
I have a question on the park maintenance report. What is it, near the bottom, it says received a quote back from Graber for completely reskinning the maintenance building.
Yes, that's what we talked about the last time, or maybe a meeting or two ago, about getting new roof and siding on the maintenance building.
It hasn't been brought to you yet. Not there
I
yet.
thought we mentioned it during one of the.
Yeah, we could have, but we
I thought we did.
But we haven't brought you yet.
Okay, so it would just be the siding and the roof, everything else intact.
Yeah, they put gutters, siding, roof, gutters, and new gutter boards and new band boards down around the bottom. And new, that first one I got, they didn't include it, but so I had to call back. Brand new slider doors on each end and a new entryway.
Seems like would be almost the cost of a new building.
Not even close.
Not even close.
No, you're sorry, I just had a 42 by 38, no, 32 by 48 pole barn quoted for my house, and it was $46,000, and that one at Denver's bigger by about twice, so.
Well,
not quite
remember, the
twice,
house
so.
and commons were like 38,000.
I'm guessing they'll re-put up that pole barn at Denver, you're looking at $70,000 or $80,000 by the time it's said and done.
This is something you're just planning ahead for.
Yeah, we'll talk about it. It's not an emergency. And maybe we'll ask for it in our budget, 2025.
I think so. When we first got the place, we had to replace a handful of posts, not a handful, but 2 posts on the inside of it. At this point, it doesn't have about half the gutters on it. So all the water is just running right down and rotting the band boards out around the bottom of it too.
How old would you say the building is? It's a guess, but.
Probably from the 60s, maybe 70s, like maybe early mid 70s, I mean, it's old. And we repainted the roof when we got there. And then it's got scabbed over pieces where it used to have a couple windows and the doors are in different spots, the entryway door, and it had another entryway door. So it's in pretty rough shape. We just kind of want to keep it around as long as we can without having to buy a new one. That'd be the way to do it.
Okay.
That park looks pretty nice. When you pull in, the first thing you see is that rusty old nasty. It's not even painted metal on the sides. It's just galvanized sheet metal stuff. Pretty rough looking.
So, future projects.
Anything else?
It was only like 20 grand for the quote for that, which is pretty cheap.
So there is one additional page 31. Well, and then there's page 32 also. So there's effective January 8th, last week, occupancy.
That's for the ramp at the First Farm Park. I just like to put these things in the package so we don't lose them.
Oh,
And I like the map I put in just so you can see where the septic tank is. It's always good things to have in the park board packet.
so if it's just in there so you don't lose it, let me know.
Okay. Well, it's a good thing to have, that we have our permit.
So engrossed, I forgot to keep track of the time. Anything else?
Did an excellent job.
You couldn't have done this faster.
No, Brad, maybe 10 minutes, not like that.
You could probably improve on it.
I'm gonna make a motion, we adjourn.
I'll let you.
Second.
Seconded.
Thank you, Justin.
all.
Thank you, Penny.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks for coming out in the.
I'll get a couple of those.